rather succumb to it and not suffer much than to suffer much and possibly not bring it through. That's what others would think. But I would rather suffer much and possibly not come through, knowing that I might succumb to the world, but God got me in his hand. And we're getting ready to make it over. You got to know that. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made a golden image. This image was a statue 90 feet to 100 feet tall. If we were to put it in today's length and breadth, it would be like 15 men standing on each other's shoulders. And you'd look up and here this statue is. They worship, pagan worship. They worship gods with a small g. King of Babylon, that's what they do. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego worship the one true God. And yet they never swayed nor moved from where or who they worship or whom they serve. They kept it. They were, in other words, like the Word of God says, steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the word of truth. Somebody ought to say amen. And you have to know, there used to be when we were in school, the cheerleaders used to do this cheer, and it was called rock steady. You got to be rock steady so that no matter what you go through, you sway side to side, front to back, up and down. You have to know that God will keep you still in his hand to let you know that although the world is spinning around you, I got you still, so you know I'm still your God. And you can keep focused because there's a storm that's not on its way. It's already here. And I want you to know and be encouraged that I'm getting ready to bring you through. But you got to stand with me. You got to let others know that you love me in the worst of times and in the best of times. Something about that. Because we love God and we worship him, we praise him when things are good. Amen. But as soon as we come through some tumultuous times, some turmoil, some turbulence, we go to getting upset, wondering, I don't know how in the world I'm going to make it through this. How did you make it through the beginning part of your life? It was nobody God but God. How did you make it through the middle part of your life? It was nobody but God. So who do you think's going to be on the back half of your life? Nobody but God. He had all of those, Nebuchadnezzar, that were important people in the province. Wanted them to come this way. The sheriffs and all the people, come on this way. There's a meeting and I need to sit down and talk to you. And he's sharing with them that when you hear the dulcimer, the harp, the cornet, and all of the instruments, that will be the time that you are going to bow down to this image that I have made, and you'll worship it. Because if you don't worship this image, then I'm going to throw you into what is the fiery furnace. So you can imagine hearing that. Those that worship, pagan worship, they had no problem with that. Because that's just what they do. It's just another image. Because we're talking about gods now, small g. But the three Hebrew boys got an issue with that. And that's why I want to pause for a moment here. My brother called me this week when he arrived in Dallas, Texas. 30,000 feet in the air, a gentleman began to sweat profusely. So they took him towards the back, and they laid him down. They put a blanket up so they would have no disturbance. Having a hard time breathing, he was in the midst of a heart attack. The paddles that they had, or the defibrillator that they had, did not work. When my brother called me and told me, he said these words to me. He said, James, he said, before I talk to you and tell you this, he said, just know I'm telling you the truth. He said, I'm going to put it the way he put it to me. He said, God took all the tools that they would be able to use and cut them off. So how he wanted to arrive at where they were, that would take place. They were in between wherever he took off and Dallas, so they couldn't turn back and get to a hospital on time. They couldn't drop where they were because the nearest hospital was too far away. And when they would arrive there, by the way this gentleman was acting, he would have never made it. No doctors or nurses on board. God cut every avenue off if you want, because he wants one thing to happen. Young lady sitting in the chair says, can I go back to him? Well, ma'am, are you a doctor, a nurse? No, ma'am. Well, I don't think we could let you, can I go back to him? Well, just move. I'm going. She asked everybody around him to get up and move while they had the man on the floor. And she put her hands on that man and prayed for him. And when she got done praying for that man began to talk. Sat up in his chair. When the lady left where she was, because she had to go back to her seat, she said, I don't care if you call the TSAs and they're waiting for me to get down. She said, I'm going to praise my God. And she got to shouting and jumping and dancing inside. Matter of fact, someone would have probably called it an act, but she didn't stop shouting and jumping and dancing till they got off the plane, and she was shouting and jumping and dancing when she got off the plane till she got her luggage on her way out to the car. But I thought I'd stop by to let you know she knew that it wasn't her, but she knew that it was God through her that saved that young man's life. Somebody that they believed, because what they saw they never witnessed before. But brother said, he said, James, he said there, I said, well, was there anybody else around you that maybe, that wasn't sure? He said, well, he said, there was a Muslim man that was sitting next to me. He said, I really don't believe in God. He said, but I got to tell you something. He said, I'm seeing something here I never saw before. And what I want you to know is you don't know wherever you are, as long as you carry God with you, how God will use you to spread the word of God and the faith to let somebody know that Jesus still saves. He works miracles and he'll do things for you that we don't expect him to do. Because he's what? He's still, say it with me, he's still God. He's still God. It's not strange. It's not something we've never seen before. Not something we've never heard of before. But to witness it. My brother said, had I known it, he said, I would have kept my phone on, even though it would have been on airplane mode, just so I can video it. But someday, God doesn't want video. If you're there, you got to see it, know it, and acknowledge it, that he's God all by himself. Commanded they would just go ahead and bow. But all the instruments would play. But you know that there's always somebody that just ain't going to listen. The Bible calls us as believers that we are peculiar people. Read your word. I know you think I'm strange. But if you read it, you wouldn't look at me that way. Number 2, certain Chaldeans. Everybody stopped what they were doing. They bowed down. They worshiped. Except the 3 Hebrew boys. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And out of jealousy, the Chaldeans come back and say, well, King, can we talk to you a moment? And this is what I like, because there's always somebody in the group. When we were growing up, we had tattletales. I ain't going to tell, I promise. If you buy me that candy bar at the store, I won't tell. You go broke always trying to give them something so they wouldn't tell. So at some point you just say, whatever, just go ahead. I'm going to just take my whipping right now because I'm not paying you off anymore. And they said, King, we need to speak to you. So they get to the king and said, listen, didn't you tell us that when all the instruments played and it was heralded out to us that we were supposed to bow down and worship the golden image? Yeah. He said, well, 3 of your people didn't do it. There were 3 of your leaders in high office. They didn't do it. All right. Well, don't you want to know who they are? Well, they were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He said, when you gave the command, they didn't do it. And there's something about that, because when you think about it, it's always something involved in someone telling on you. Sometimes it's jealousy. Sometimes it's corruption. Because don't forget, these were 3 Hebrew boys in a place called Babylon, where they had to be. Their names were changed from Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I thought I'd stop by to tell you, you could change my name, you could change my food, but you can't change who I worship and who I love. Now know that to Love God so much that no matter what situation that you are in life, you still will trust God no matter what. House to be falling down, I trust God. Children going crazy, I trust God.